the same problems that you get from your first wife, the same problems you'll get them from the second wife.
But Fred,
let me just finish.
Is it simultaneous? Like if wife A is having a problem, wife B is having a problem. May think if you're having a problem with wife A, wife B is good. If you're having a problem with B, maybe wife A is good. Like it's so hard for them to have.
Remember, you are one, and these people, they want your attention, all of them. Okay, this one wants your attention, and this one wants your attention. When when you fight with this first.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Today we are having my two African brothers, and we are going to discuss the place of polygamy in the 21st century. Our men seeing polygamy is something which is viable to them. Is it beneficial to them today? And what kind of solutions do we have for people who are facing relationship problems, especially in the African context? Are we seeing as polygamy as the solution? So that's what we are going to discuss today. And also ensure to subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time, and if you've ever come across my video, please hit the subscribe button and always know that we'll give you a great content. So brothers and sisters, I'm not having brothers and sisters here. So brothers, today we are going to talk about the place of polygamy in the 21st century. You as an African brother, do you encourage polygamy?
So you decided to start with me.
First of all, this guy looks like he's polygamy.
No. Okay. Okay. If you, it's good that you brought the topic. Maybe I can say that polygamy. Africans were born polygamous already. Okay, stop laughing, bro. Africans were born polygamous, and me myself, I can support that. If you are you have, okay. So thank you very much, Eugene, for the topic, and I think to contribute to this topic. I can say that Africans were born polygamous, okay? And if you can see my brother here, he just looks polygamous. It's only that he has never realized that he can take good care of at least two or more women. If you have got that capability of marrying more than two wives, okay, and you can take good care of them, you can provide for their needs, their food, their clothing, their everything that they need. Marry even as much as you can, because, for example, in this 21st century, you find out that ladies are like twice men. Okay, so tell me, where will this number go? The half, where will they go? So I will encourage that any African, if you can marry, if you have got the capability of marrying two or more, marry them. Instead of going outside your marriage to have got a side chick, why can't you just marry that girl to make her your wife? Instead of playing around, how do we say it? How can I put it?
Piki pong.
Piki pong. Instead of having a side chick outside your marriage, that will look like you are playing your wife or your lady. So instead, just be open and bring that wife to your house or your home and make her your wife.
Fred kidogo tu.
Yes, now when it comes to me, first of all, I'm Victor, and I'm the proprietor of AfriPost, as it is. So, okay, my opinion when it comes to the question of polygamy, as Africans and our culture, we know that polygamy is something that was not something to be discussed because it was by default the norm in African setting. Africans are largely polygamous. So when we go to the African root, talking about polygamy, it means like that we are talking about our culture. If you're black, if you're an African, you understand that polygamy is the norm. But now we have this issue where the Western culture has taught us that polygamy is something that is not allowed. If you read in the Bible, we have been given those kind of qualifications of a priest, or yes, a priest. He is somebody who is not supposed to be having more than one wife. So if you look at the Christianity as it is and how we are taught, mostly in Christianity, because you also understand that there are Muslims who also accept marrying up to 4 wives. So for Christians, and largely Africans are Christians, to a larger extent, Christianity has been sold to them largely. So many of them have tended to take this aspect of Christian ideologies and lifestyle. So that is what has removed us from our original cultural norm. But as Africans, polygamy is supported. Just as Fred has said, even if you look at the kind of population that we have, ladies are many. He is kind of saying that we have twice as much ladies as men. So if you have 200 women supposed to be served by 100 men, how will the extra 100 sort themselves if they are not absorbed within these 100 men? So to a larger extent in African context, that is allowed. But there is a caveat which I'll talk about later. Yeah, so for an opening statement, that is my opinion. Polygamy is allowed and it should be embraced by Africans.
So you're saying that polygamy should be embraced by Africans. You see, brother, I want to ask you this question again. You know, as you've said, we have a lot of women than men, okay? Because that's according to the statistics that we are always given, that we have a lot of women as compared to men. Now, the problem comes when women don't want to be the second wife. Or a woman in the 21st century. Remember, we have the rise of feminism, women knowing their rights, women knowing what's right to them, women knowing who a man is. They have their own definition of who is a man and who is not a man. And you see, in an African context, it is something which is natural for a man to be polygamous. But today, it's not easy because our African women in the 21st century won't make it happen for them easily. They don't want it because everyone wants their place. So how are we going to, you as a man, how are we going to split yourself? And also I'll ask you this question, even you, Brother Fred. You see, women, or generally relationships, are so complex, we have those people who fight each other during marriages. Do you think polygamy is the solution to this? People are fighting in families. Because me, I believe if it's a mistake, you can't solve it with one woman. You can't solve it with 2 women. I believe it will be chaotic. And the problem will be magnified. So another thing, I'll talk about capitalism and polygamy today. You see, when you have 2 wives, it means that both of them want children. You will have to feed the children. You'll have to have a stable work. You also have to get a land, especially when these children, you will sire sons. They'll need a land. That's according to our African customs, and they'll inherit the land. So tell me, if you have polygamous, because if you are a polygamous man, because every wife will need a place to be, and their children will also need a place to be. How are you going to deal with this? I'll start with Kaka Fred.
Okay, in this 21st century, I admit that we have a problem. More so with our ladies. Okay, ladies don't want to be the second wives, and the first wives also they want their own. they don't want to share husbands. Okay, if you try and bring that topic to your wife, you'll see things changing, the story changing. Okay,
in fact today women want what is called polyandry. It is the women who want to have two men rather than they prefer to have two men rather than one man. Yes, so continue.
Okay, so thank you for that. So but as a man, I think, okay, a man is the head of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A man is the head of the house. If you, but it doesn't mean that if you are the head of the house, what you say is final. Sometimes we need to give them a chance also to contribute to the agenda of maybe what you want to do. That's why before you marry or bring a second wife, or before you do something, you have to share with your wife and see how they're gonna react. But most wives or most ladies of today do not want a second wife because they want they feel that you'll divide the responsibility into two. Okay, the resources, everything. So they feel that maybe they will suffer, or their children will suffer in case maybe you marry a second wife. But to some extent, I can agree with them. I come from a polygamous family background. My grandfather was a polygamer. Okay.
Same too.
Yes. So my grandfather married two wives. My grandmother is his second wife. Okay, so when he died, that family never remained the same until today. Okay, there's a lot of fighting. People, the children of this first house and the second house are not in good term. Okay, why? Because they struggle for land, they struggle for okay. So it is good only if a man plans himself and put things in place before put things in place earlier before he dies, okay, or something happens. So that in his absence, the fightings and the disagreement and name them, we want to be there. You see? But an African is born a polygamer.
Fred, a little bit. So you're trying to say that Africans were born polygamous, which I agree with, because our forefathers, especially for me, my grandfather had two wives. I want to ask you this question again before we going to Victor. Do you think let me laugh. Do you think polygamy is the solution to reduce the problem of what we called wife beating, or to reduce what we call domestic violence? Because for me, I think if I'm having a problem with my first wife, I'll just leave and go to my second wife and stay there. And when I've cooled down, I'll go back to my first wife, or either way. So do you think that to reduce things to do with domestic violence, or in African way they used to call it wife beating, so today domestic violence comes in different forms. It can come in rape, in marriages, because when you don't want to be intimate with your husband or your wife, and they forcefully do it to you, it becomes domestic violence. You see, so do you think polygamy? Because you see, when I say that, I mean it means that your first wife isn't sexually, maybe they don't want to engage with you sexually, and
I've gotten your question. Okay?
Yeah.
So let me I'm a married man, and I know what married men go through. Okay, stop smiling. Okay. You can't say that marrying a second wife will be a solution to what do you say, family fighting or what? Okay,
the domestic violence.
I can say it's another problem added. Okay, because the same problems that you get from your first wife, the same problems, you'll get them from the second wife.
But Fred,
let me just finish.
is it simultaneous? Like if wife A is having a problem, wife B is having a problem. May think if you're having a problem with wife A, wife B is good. If you're having a problem with B, maybe wife A is good. Like it's so hard for them to have.
Remember, you are one, and these people, they want your attention, all of them. Okay, this one wants your attention, and this one wants your attention. When when you fight with this first one, maybe you'll run to the second wife. Okay, so where? Okay, let Victor speak.
He's been quiet, bro. He's been just looking at us, man.
Yeah, I don't know how you decided this topic, but it's okay. So
I know I don't want to talk, but you have to talk.
So here it is. I want to talk in terms of so let me give you my opinion. The first thing is that I started by supporting polygamy in the African context. The second thing is that you've asked whether will polygamy solve domestic violence issues in the house. And to me, I tell you that it will solve and it will not solve. Why do I say this? Always you realize that when there is competition, there will be these people, if you will be the center of attention as the man, they will not be fighting to outshine each other on who is bad or who is now worst. Every person will be desiring to be the person who can get the best of your attention. And that is why you'll realize that men, they understood that when they are having issues with the one house, they could go to the second house and find peace and get some good food and eat in peace there. When the other woman sees that my husband enjoyed and is in peace and is laughing with his other wife, she will also want to tone down and relax. So to a certain extent, that can solve that, but only in the traditional context. If you come to today's context, things are different, because you've just said that wives or ladies understand their rights, and they're also tough. You remember our mothers or our grandmothers, let me say that. Our grandmothers were very submissive. No one was going out to work. But a woman is going to work. She's having her work. She's employed.
She's earning well.
Her money. And then you want to come and say that you have this wife and another wife. She will say, okay, if you want, have yourself, enjoy her. Let me go and do my things where I can, because she's financially empowered. So she's not going to depend on you. But our women who we used to keep in polygamous marriages, they were kept there because the man was the source of provision. The man was the source of everything. If it is about food, shelter, protection, it was from the man. But here is another aspect that I want to talk about. If you look at today's context, people have extramarital affairs that serve as second wives than what it is. So for me, kaende, let that be the norm, because if people have decided that that is the way, societies change. There is a season when we accept certain things. There is a season when we can live in a certain way. Right now, I can tell you, the polygamy that we can have, even if you are polygamous, you have two wives, you will still find another girl outside. That you will have as your side chick.
Let me ask you something, Eugene. You said that your grandfather is polygamous.
Was a polygamous.
Before I add that, I also want to say that my father is polygamous. Yes.
Thank you for thank you for joining this team. Now, I have a question for you guys. Your grandfather was a polygamous.
My grandfather is not polygamous.
Okay.
But my father is.
And is he there?
Who? My grandfather.
My father is also a polygamous.
My grandfather is there, not polygamous, but my father is there, polygamous.
And the two wives are still there?
No, my mother passed, but the other wife is still.
What about your grandfather? Is he still there?
My grandfather is not there.
But the two wives?
The two wives are there.
there.
My father is polygamous. The 2 wives are there. They have never gotten along.
Now, this is the point that I wanted to bring. Is that even me, my grandfather is not there. He died and left the 2 wives.
Yeah.
Your grandfather is not there. He died and left the 2.
The 2 wives.
So the point that I'm trying to bring is that having 2 wives is not bad, but you find that just like you just said that when you fight with the first wife or the second wife, you tend to run to the other one. Then the other one will try maybe to cool down because she will feel that you are receiving love from there. But remember, men do have this mentality. I don't know whether it's a culture mentality or what. Men always forgive, but they never forget. That's why you see most men who have married 2 wives, they carry a lot of problems, okay, or a lot of and they undergo through a lot of challenges. Okay, so you find that these men, they die early, leaving their wives there.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it happens because you find that you have got 2. Having a family is like having a government. Okay, you are the president, and your wife is the minister. Blah blah blah. Okay, then just imagine you have got 2 governments at the same time, and you must run all of them, my friend. You will financially. That's why you
discipline.
see exactly. You see men die early. Okay. Then they leave their wives there.
A little bit.
Rights and everything.
You are saying that it's like a government, right? But what's the scenario of these men? They have 1 wife, but they also have another wife outside. Maybe the wife is not validated as the second wife or the first wife, yet the first wife doesn't know that she has a co-wife somewhere.
Yes.
Do you think that's cheating? Because I believe that most of men today are doing that. They have that. She might not be.
But we are married. Why have you not asked whether we are doing it?
Maybe that's personal.
That's why when we started, we say that. That's why when we started, we say that all Africans were born polygamous. All Africans were born polygamous, my friend. You can be having 1 wife with maybe another affair outside.
Even Solomon had concubines.
Even Solomon had how many wives? How many concubines?
700 wives.
A lot of them.
300 concubines.
Yeah, maybe you might think that you have got 1 wife in the house and you have got a side chick outside the house. That's also your wife, because the Bible says that once you've
proceed.
I proceed.
I just said. What are you feeling?
Once you've engaged with a woman, you now turn to be one. So in case maybe you have an affair outside and you've engaged sexually, you are now one. It means you share a lot with that a person outside your marriage. So that person is your wife. so that's why I remember my I don't know whether how YouTube will take it. Okay, let me just leave it. Proceed.
Do you believe that?
Why are you leaving it?
Maybe I think it's sensitive to the YouTube.
Speak, man.
Okay. Our Mike Swiley teacher used to tell us that having sex is not bad. Okay?
Bombastic.
It's not bad. Sex is sweet, but there's a right time for having sex. And all of you here have wives and have husbands, because I'm sure that you've engaged sexually. So I think Africans should not let go their culture, because Africans were born polygamous. If you have got the energy and the capability of marrying 2 wives and above, please do. Because we don't have a scenario where ladies die because of maybe stress. They don't have someone to marry them. They think that men don't see them. Men never see them, and men and they feel that they are not attractive to men. Okay, so if you can marry 2 wives, please marry to reduce the population and to reduce depression in women. Yes, because by the way, they undergo depression, some of them. They feel that men don't see them anymore. They feel that they are never beautiful anymore. Okay, so if you can marry 2 wives, go ahead, because that is African.
So I also saw a clip on a TikTok. This woman who was crying that you just need a man, doesn't have to have money, you see. But you see, I also believe that will I say something called toxic feminism or something? I've brainwashed our women, and women are not seeing polygamy as something which is good, and they want to do the polyandry thing. Now they want to be the men. They want to have 2 men. While in reality there are no men.
I want to give you some context here.
Yes.
In terms of being an Afro-optimist.
Afro-optimist.
Or I would say Pan-Africanist. The question about not being polygamous is something that has been brought in Africa by the West.
Yes.
And this is ostensibly to control our population. And that is why it is even put in the Bible. I'm sorry to also put that. But that has been a tool used by the West to control population in Africa. If you look at African...
saying no to polygamy.
Yes. If you look at the African population right now, it is the only continent with the highest number of youths.
Africa.
Other countries that started population control are suffering because they're having many old men but few young people. They are wondering where will their generation go.
Is it Japan or where I'm seeing?
Many countries, even in China right now, it's facing serious problems because initially it was two was it even one person? There were two children. Everybody was supposed to only give birth to 2 kids. But right now, even finding ladies to marry in China is a problem. In China, finding a girl to marry is a very serious issue. If you go do your research, you'll realize that. So the problem of population control in Africa is something that's been brought by the West. But when you look at it keenly, you realize that population control is not working. It is giving us an imbalanced society. Because initially, if you let the population to grow as it is, we will have equal children, equal youths, and equal adults. But in the society today, you'd realize that there is a group of people there are societies that have very many old people, but few young people, because there is a period when the old people refuse to give birth because of issues like polygamy. They avoided polygamy and they wanted only 1 wife. So that is also something that is there. So for me as an African, I would say Africans are supposed to marry more than 1 wife. So you should go ahead and do that and marry. Even you, prepare yourself. You're not married. We are giving you an assignment to start searching for 2 ladies.
We've given you an ultimatum of 1 month.
I'm not marrying soon, bro.
Okay. You made me remember something here. If you compare the 21st century ladies and those ladies that the times that the 20th century when we were growing up, when you try to seduce a girl, those days, okay, you get it so difficult for you to get that girl or to make that girl your girlfriend. But nowadays, why? Because when you approach a girl those days, okay, they will tell you that I'm not ready, I'm not prepared okay? I don't want to get married right now. But try do that right now in this 21st century. Like, for example, you the way you are single. Is single, by the way, you can take a contact, okay? Is single. So try and seduce any lady right now in this 21st century, and let her realize that you are single. She will come to you running. She will.
While me, I think it differently.
No, she will come to you running. Why? Let me just finish. Why? Because men who are marrying are not there right now. Men are not marrying, and men are not. How do I say?
They are not willing to take up responsibilities.
Yes. Then they're also not there. They're not seductive. Men they don't have time to waste.
They're tired.
They're tired. Once you tell them no, I'm not prepared, they are gone and gone and gone.
You'll regret the opportunity.
So ladies have realized that men are not seductive anymore, and they don't. Once you tell them wait, I will think about it, they are gone and gone. Okay, because men are not marrying nowadays. Men are not marrying. Okay, because they fear responsibility, and not that they fear responsibility. Even the economy is also contributing to this.
That will be a topic for another day.
That will be a topic for another day.
So, okay, you are giving an example that in recent times, ladies are easier to go to people who are single.
Yes.
It is easier compared to the times you said. But now, there is also this aspect. If you compare how a lady will go to a married man than a single person, what do you see there? Yeah, sure, like
sure.
You go hit on a lady, Eugene goes to hit on a lady.
Yeah, okay.
The chances that you will go with that lady are very high.
Are very high because they believe that I can take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yes, I can take good care of her.
So generally, what that is giving us is that being a man is about taking up responsibility and also fighting for your space. So ladies, by nature, as they were created, they are supposed to be given direction. To be given, I don't want to say to be led, because that would sound to be a male chauvinist or something, but they are supposed to be given direction, and that is what they are looking at. That is where you realize even an old man right now can get a young lady and put that lady in the house, because these old men understand how to give direction to these young ladies.
Sure, so, you are correct.
So polygamy can only survive if also our men of today understand and know how to give direction to their ladies and also to their families. And most of our families are also facing challenges because of that lack of.
But where are those ladies to give direction, bro? No, the ladies of today, you cannot give them direction.
Not direction. Okay, not direction per se, like you want to dictate them.
Not even dictating. Not even dictating. Our ladies of today, once she's educated, she has got her papers, she can look for job, she can earn her own salary. Okay, most of them showing them the direction is not easy. Okay,
it's not easy.
It's not
and
easy.
That is what I was kind of saying. These are the things that were engineered by the West. Do you know, someone said that the question about empowerment of women to go and do work is also something that the West is using to depopulate the society. Once you have many educated women, how many women will sit down to give birth? So they are also going to ensure that the father, the mother, they are at work. Who is left behind to take care of the kids? The television, the internet. So your children are controlled by somebody else, and that is how they are going to destroy the future. So it's a very complex discussion for us.
So polygamy is taking a new shape, according to you, in the 21st century, because the
21st century is getting more complex. Polygamy is diminishing.
Polyandry is increasing.
It is increasing, but multiple sexual partners is also increasing. People are having many more multiple sexual partners, and people don't give sex the value that it has. It is just a feel good moment, and it goes as it is. So that is it for me.
So do you think, we talked about polygamy and not sexual violence, but domestic violence, right? So you guys don't see it as a solution to domestic violence? Because to me I see it is.
It is to some extent. It is to some
but can it work now?
But
that
it
is
cannot work today. Yeah, okay. It is a solution, but it cannot work today. Because just the way Victor said, Afri post, he said that these our ladies of today, ladies are also educated. They have got their papers, they can earn their money. Okay, when you approach your woman and tell her that I want to marry, I want to add you a second wife, okay, the reply that you'll get from her is not going to be easy to swallow.
It might choke you dead.
It might choke you dead, because she will tell you, okay, if you want to marry, just go ahead and marry me. I'm not part of that. I'm gone. And that's how you lose that.
Maybe she has your kids.
You'll not see your kids, because remember, they also know the laws, because the law sometimes favor them. But then the constitution favors.
The law was meant, the law that is there is not for polygamy. You know that?
Yes.
It was for only, you can only marry one person.
Or one wife.
Marriage certificate can only be given to one person.
To one person. So even the constitution favors women more than men. And I'm sorry to say so. Our African constitution favors women more than men, because women have been given more rights than men. That's why you see girl child, boy child, those organizations that have come up.
Affirmative action.
They tend to protect girls more than boys. So you find boys are left just there. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to report to when they have challenges, and that's why you see many boys enter into these negative practices like drugs, okay, like stealing, because there's nobody to guide them, there's nobody to show them the direction, because the government or this organization have given ladies more priorities, or let me use girls more priorities than boys. So the question is, where will our boys go? Okay.
I'm hearing. I'm not taking the boys.
So I think I've answered you, Cindy. Yes, I've answered you. So it's not easy to have a second wife in this 21st century because of the society that we're living in today. It's not easy.
But it is recommended.
It is recommended to have, but be ready to take the responsibility. Okay, but be ready to okay. Just be ready to take the responsibility. Let me just leave it there.
So viewers who have reached until this point, you guys tell us what you think in the comment section. And as I've always been reminding you, ensure subscribing to our channel. Road to 1K subs. Thank you guys.
Make him reach 1,000 subscribers, guys.
Yeah. So this is our is it our third podcast?
This is the third podcast.
Yeah, this is our third podcast, guys. The fourth podcast, guys. So we are trying to build up a podcast. This is gonna be a new. How can you put it? Okay, we are trying to make up a podcast. So we cannot do it alone. That's why we need your input, guys. And please try and support us, because remember, all of us here, we are content creators. I own a channel known as Fred from Africa, where I deal with the African and diaspora content, and he also owns a channel. He does the same to Eugene. He owns a content, a channel, and here we are trying to come together to build a community of 3 brothers. That's why we decided to come up with, to make this podcast, and we need your input, guys. So do not let us down. We believe in you, we trust in you, and we hope that this podcast is going to grow in Jesus' name. Say amen. Say amen.
Amen.
So see you again in our next videos. I'm sorry, I'm trying to climb into your content. This is your content.
There is no problem, bro. we are speaking one language.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for keeping in touch with us, and if you reached until this point, we appreciate you. So see you guys in the next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.